The rain hammered against the windows of Michael Jackson's Beverly Hills mansion like bullets from the sky. It was March 15th, 2009, just months before his planned comeback tour. Thunder crashed overhead as Michael sat in his private studio, working on new lyrics that would never see the light of day. The storm had been brewing all evening, but nobody expected what was about to unfold. At 11:47 p.m., Michael's phone rang with a desperate cry for help. On the other end was Maria Santos, a local school principal whose voice trembled with fear. A flash flood had trapped 23 children and 4 teachers inside Lincoln Elementary School. The rising water had already reached the first floor, and emergency services were overwhelmed with calls across the city. The children were scared, cold, and running out of time. "Mr. Jackson, I know this sounds crazy, but we need someone with a helicopter," Maria pleaded. "The roads are completely flooded. These babies are trapped on the second floor, and the water keeps rising. Please, if you know anyone who can help." Her voice broke as another crash of thunder shook the building. Michael didn't hesitate. He had been battling his own demons for years, struggling with pain medication and the pressure of his upcoming tour. But hearing those children in danger awakened something deep within him. The same protective instinct that had driven him to create songs about healing the world now demanded action. Without thinking twice, he grabbed his jacket and car keys. "I'm coming," he told Maria, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. "Tell the children that help is on the way. Keep them calm and keep them together." As he hung up the phone, Michael Jackson was about to embark on the most important performance of his life. But this time, there would be no stage, no spotlight, and no applause. This time, lives hung in the balance, and failure was not an option. Michael's black Mercedes tore through the flooded streets like a ship cutting through rough seas. The windshield wipers fought desperately against the torrential rain, but visibility was almost zero. Street lights flickered and died as power lines snapped under the weight of falling trees. This wasn't just a storm anymore. It was nature's fury unleashed upon the city. The radio crackled with emergency reports. Multiple rescues were happening simultaneously across Los Angeles. Fire departments, paramedics, and police were stretched beyond their limits. Michael knew he couldn't wait for official help. Those children needed someone now, and somehow, fate had chosen him to be their lifeline. Pulling over at a gas station, Michael made 3 crucial phone calls. The first was to his pilot, James Rodriguez, who initially refused to fly in such dangerous conditions. "Michael, you're asking me to commit suicide," James argued. But when Michael explained about the trapped children, something changed in the pilot's voice. "Give me 20 minutes to prep the helicopter. Meet me at the private airfield." The second call was to his security team, asking them to bring emergency supplies, blankets, food, medical kits, and portable lights. The third call was to his personal doctor, Conrad Murray, requesting him to stand by with medical equipment. Every second counted, and Michael was orchestrating a rescue mission with the same precision he once used to choreograph his legendary performances. As he raced toward the airfield, Michael's mind flashed back to his childhood in Gary, Indiana. He remembered being scared during thunderstorms, how his mother Catherine would hold him close and sing softly until the fear passed. Now, 23 children were experiencing that same terror, but they had no mother's arms to comfort them. The thought made him press harder on the accelerator. The dashboard clock read 12:23 a.m. Time was running out, and Michael Jackson was about to risk everything for children he had never met. This would be his greatest act of love. The helicopter blades cut through the night air like a mechanical heartbeat against death itself. Pilot James Rodriguez gripped the controls with white knuckles as wind gusts threatened to throw their aircraft into the surrounding buildings. Michael sat in the co-pilot's seat, wearing a headset and clutching emergency supplies, his famous sequin glove replaced by work gloves that could grip rescue ropes. There, Michael pointed through the rain-streaked window. Lincoln Elementary School stood like an island in a sea of rushing water. The parking lot had become a lake, and debris floated past the building like pieces of a broken world. Through the second-story windows, they could see flashlight beams moving frantically, signs of life that needed immediate saving. James struggled to find a safe landing spot. The school's roof was too steep, the playground was underwater, and power lines dangled dangerously in every direction. "Michael, I don't know if we can do this safely," he shouted over the engine noise. But Michael had already spotted their chance. A small patch of higher ground behind the school building, just big enough for a risky landing. "Put us down there," Michael commanded with the authority of someone who had commanded stages worldwide. "Those children are counting on us." As they descended, the helicopter lurched violently in the wind. James fought the controls, while Michael prepared the rescue equipment, his movements calm and determined despite the chaos around them. The moment they touched ground, Michael was already moving. He grabbed the emergency supplies and ran through knee-deep water toward the school building. The current was strong, trying to sweep him away, but years of dancing had given him incredible balance and core strength. Behind him, James secured the helicopter and followed with additional medical supplies. At the school's entrance, Principal Maria Santos appeared at a second-story window, her face a mixture of relief and disbelief. "Mr. Jackson," she called down, "the water's rising fast. We've moved everyone to the library, but—" Her words were lost in another thunder crash, but her meaning was clear. They were running out of time, and Michael Jackson had become their only hope for survival. Inside Lincoln Elementary School, 23 frightened children huddled together in the second-floor library. The youngest was only 6 years old, crying for her mother. The oldest, a brave 10-year-old named David, was trying to keep everyone calm by leading them in songs. The water below them had risen to 4 feet and showed no signs of stopping. Every few minutes, the building would creak and groan under the pressure. Michael appeared in the doorway like an angel in the storm. Despite being soaked to the bone and exhausted, he smiled that famous smile that had brought joy to millions. "Hey, everyone," he said softly, his voice carrying the warmth that had made him beloved worldwide. "I'm Michael, and I'm here to take you home to your families." The children's eyes widened in amazement. Even in their terror, they recognized the king of pop. But this wasn't about celebrity. This was about survival. Michael quickly assessed the situation with Principal Santos. The stairwell was flooded, making normal evacuation impossible. They would need to use the library windows and create a human chain to the helicopter. Working with teachers and his pilot James, Michael organized the most important performance of his career. Each child would be secured with a safety harness and lowered from the window to waiting arms below. The smallest children would go first, then the older ones, with teachers helping throughout the process. It was dangerous, but it was their only chance. "Listen to me, beautiful children." Michael addressed them with the same gentle authority he had once used with his own children. "We're going to play a special game. You're going to be brave heroes, and I'm going to help you fly to safety. Can you do that for me?" Despite their fear, the children nodded. They trusted this strange, magical man who had appeared in their darkest hour. As Michael secured the first harness around 6-year-old Emma, she whispered, "Are you really Michael Jackson?" He smiled, adjusting the straps carefully. "I'm whoever you need me to be tonight, sweetheart. But right now, I'm just someone who loves you and wants to keep you safe." The rescue was about to begin, and every life hung in the balance. One by one, the children descended from the library window into the stormy night, each secured by ropes that Michael held with hands that had once moonwalked across the world's greatest stages. Little Emma went first, her tiny form swaying in the wind as James guided her down to safety. Then David, the brave 10-year-old who had kept everyone's spirits up. Each successful rescue filled Michael's heart with a joy deeper than any standing ovation he had ever received. The water continued rising, now lapping at the first-floor ceiling. Time was running desperately short. As the 17th child reached safety, a sickening crack echoed through the building. Part of the foundation was giving way under the water's pressure. "We need to move faster," James shouted, but Michael was already ahead of him, working with mechanical precision born of pure determination. When the last child, a shy 8-year-old named Sophia, was safely in the helicopter, Michael helped lower the 4 teachers. Principal Maria Santos was the final person to be evacuated. As she reached the window, she grabbed Michael's hand. "Thank you," she whispered, tears mixing with rainwater on her cheeks. You saved them all. Michael simply nodded, helping her toward safety. But as Maria descended, disaster struck. The building shifted violently, and Michael lost his footing. He fell backward into the rising water inside the school, disappearing beneath the dark surface. James screamed his name, but the storm swallowed the sound. For terrifying seconds, it seemed like the hero might become the final victim. Then Michael's head broke the surface, gasping for air. Using the last of his strength, he swam to where James had lowered a rope. Hand over hand, he pulled himself up and out of the building, just as another section of the school's foundation crumbled into the flood. Minutes later, all 28 people, 23 children, 4 teachers, and 1 principal, were safely aboard the helicopter, flying toward the hospital through the storm. As dawn broke over Los Angeles, the news of Michael Jackson's midnight rescue mission spread around the world. He had saved 28 lives in one night, risking everything for people he had never met. 3 months later, Michael Jackson would pass away. But that stormy March night proved that heroes are not defined by their struggles, but by their willingness to put others first when it matters most. The children he saved would grow up knowing that sometimes angels come when you need them most, wearing the face of the king of pop.